Hari Om, Hari Om. Namaste to all.
1 second, sir. 1 second. We are live now, sir.
Hari Om, Namaste to all. Prostrating at the lotus feet of Brahmanishta Sadguru Shrotriya Sri Swami Virajeshwara Saraswati and the entire Guru Parampara, on behalf of all of us, today's discourse on Viveka Chudamani will continue. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Mahasaraswatyai Namaha. Sadashivasamarambham Sri Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Pariyantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Shruti Smruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kruto Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. Om Namo Bhagavate Virajeshwaraya Hari Om. Last time the shloka number 291 we had stopped at, verse number 291, and then 292 onwards we will commence today. And for this subsection of a set of shlokas, a sort of a chapter, sub-chapter heading is given. Aham Padartha Nirupana. So the next few sets of shlokas, Acharya Shankara Bhagavatpada is touching upon the aham, meaning of the word aham. Aham, aham padartha, aham vastu. Before that, I would like to draw your attention to, once again, the 18th last chapter in the autobiography of our beloved Gurudeva, the Scientist's Search for Truth, the 18th last chapter, wherein on the verge of realization, Swaswarupa Sandhana, on the verge of Atma Sakshatkara, how Gurudev ultimately, on a first-hand experience, gained the profound truth about the ego itself, what we commonly call aham. See this, if you go into the details of the 18th chapter, in the final phases, what lucidly Gurudev has explained his personal experience, first-hand experiences. There you will come to know. See, the word aham is used in two ways in Vedanta. See, the normal aham is the ego, that is the individuality, the individual consciousness, separate individual entity called myself. I am this body. So this is called the ego factor. ವೇದಾಂತದಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ತರದ ಅಹಂಭಾವ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಯಗಳಿಗೆ ಬಹಳ ದೊಡ್ಡ ವಿವೇಚನೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಮುಂದಿನ ಶ್ಲೋಕಗಳಲ್ಲಿ. ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ನಾನು 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 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಅಂತ ಈ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಹವನ್ನು ಸಮೀಕರಣ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೇಳ್ತೇವಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಅಹಂಕಾರ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಅಹಂಕಾರ, ದ ಈಗೋ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್. This is the individual self, myself, I am the self. So I am so and so. So from birth to death, this ego factor is directly associated on the body-mind complex. It is totally, eminently dependent on the body-mind complex called this body. This ego goes along with the psychosomatic apparatus called the body, gross body, physical body, which also means the mind complex, internal. So both the mind or the antakarana plus the body, together I call myself, I am so and so, I am so and so. ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಥೂಲ ಮತ್ತು ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಶರೀರ ಎರಡಕ್ಕೂ ಸೇರಿ ಸಮೀಕರಣ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಇಂತಹವನು, ನಾನು ಇಂತಹವನು, ಇಂಥವಳು, ಇದು ಅಹಂಕಾರ. ನನ್ನ ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕವಾಗಿ ನನ್ನ ನಿಲುವನ್ನ, ನನ್ನ ಇರುವಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ನಾನು ಗುರುತಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ವ್ಯವಹಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯವಹಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಇನ್ ದಿ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ವ್ಯವಹಾರ. ಆಲ್ ಮೈ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಗೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ this ego factor, individuality, my own status. I am so and so. See, this is the ego called ahankara. It is also aham. It is called ahankara. But please remember, Vedanta, Acharya Bhagavad makes it so clear. Elsewhere in his other bhashyas and Upanishads also has made it so clear. This ego, this ahankara, is mithya. It is really false. It is not a permanent feature. It is only temporary, momentary. It doesn't stay long. It is there along with the body when the body has taken birth. It will die along with the body. And in between, from birth to death, this ego performs and manifests in myriads and myriads of ways with its own character of binding the body and the mind, associating with the body and the mind, thinking that I am the self, I am this self, I am myself. So the me concept, ಈ ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಾವ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಯಾಕೆ ಪ್ರಬಲವಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಹುಟ್ಟಿನಂದಿನಿಂದ ಮರಣ ಬರೋ ವೇಳೆಗೆ ಈ ಅಹಂಕಾರದ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಮಮಕಾರವು ಸೇರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ನನ್ನದು, ನನ್ನವರು, ನನ್ನದು, ನನ್ನವರು. So this ego factor joins with the associated factor, that is mine concept. So this is mine. These people are mine. So and so is my wife or the spouse. So and so are my children. So and so are my parents. So and so are my relatives, brothers and sisters, uncles, aunts, etc., etc. So and so are my friends. So and so are my enemies in life. That means ahankar, this ego factor, goes along with the mind concept also. Mind means only something is mine, not everything. Only some people are mine, not everyone. They are different. They are not mine. So that is called mamakara. The mamakara emanates because of moha, passion, moha. I am attached to my own people from birth to death. So I care about my own people, my own family members, and not others. Because what happens in the world, I am least bothered. I may witness it. Occasionally, I may say sorry if some death news comes in. Some large accident occurs and somebody dies in thousands. We say, oh, we hear the news and we say, we are sorry that so many people die. When the war breaks out, we feel sorry about the people who die, either collaterally or directly. But they are not a mind. See, mind concept concerns with only mamakara, out of moha, out of passion. So ahankara gives rise to mamakara. So the ego goes with mind concept. So in Vedanta, Acharya says, the next set of shlokas, this I feeling is not the real I. The real I is actually something different. On that real I, this outer I is superimposed, adhyasa. The real I is totally suppressed. It has become invisible due to the effect of our ajnana or avidya or maya. primordial ignorance. From n number of generations, we have carried that ignorance. So we have masked, we have covered, we don't know, we have forgotten. What is the real I? Who is that real I? Who is that real I am? Nobody knows. All that I know is I am. What is that? Pseudo, ego factor. This is not the reality. The real I is different. What is that real I? The real aham padartha. That aham padartha is nameless, faceless. It has no shape. It cannot be understood by the mind. It cannot be understood by the buddhi or intellect. It is all the time prevalent and all the time shining in its own glory. It is beyond the present, past, and future, all the time factor. Time, space, continuum, it is beyond that. So that real aham padartha is pratyagatma inside, our own atma, our own parama chaitanya inside. So that is the real I. That is a substratum. That is a base. That is Mooladhara. That is a primordial causeless cause base. That is a real Pratyagatma or real Atma Swarupa, or that Parabrahma Vastu. That is a real I. So the difference between the two. So in the set of shlokas now, if you go into that, if you remember these words, it will be easy to follow. I still remember our Gurudev used to tell about the last chapter in his autobiography, what he has written. ನಮ್ಮ ಗುರುದೇವರು ವಿಜ್ಞಾನಿಯ ಸತ್ಯಾನ್ವೇಷಣೆ ತಮ್ಮ ಆತ್ಮಚರಿತ್ರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊನೆಯ ಅಧ್ಯಾಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಆತ್ಮ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ಕಾರದ ಸ್ವಯಂ ವರ್ಣನೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾಗ, ಅದನ್ನು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಬರಿತಾ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಬಹಳ ವಿಶದವಾಗಿ ನನಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನಿಜವಾದ ಅರ್ಥದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಶೂನ್ಯ, ಅದು ಇಲ್ಲವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನೆರಳಿದ್ದ ಹಾಗೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಸ್ತಿತ್ವವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದು 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 ಇರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂಟುಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ದೇಹ ಬೇಕು. ದೇಹದ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅಂಟುಕೊಂಡು ನಿಜವಾದ ನಾನುವನ್ನ ಮರೆಮಾಚಿ ಇದು ನಾನೇ ನಾನು ಅಂತ ವಿಜೃಂಭಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇದು ನಿಜವಾದ ಅಹಂಕಾರ. ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಎಂದು ನಾಶವಾಗುತ್ತೋ ಅಂದು ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ಕಾರ ಅನ್ನೋ ಮಾತನ್ನು ನನಗೆ ಪದೇ ಪದೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. So I request all of you to once again read the 18th chapter, at least. Reflect upon only the 18th chapter. The passages where Gurudev writes about the mithya swarupa of the pseudo I. How he says, how step by step he arrived at the conclusion that this I is only false. This I is only mithya. It's only delusion. Just like when you are dreaming, dream appears to be real. In this waking world, this pseudo I appears to be real because it cannot sustain without the body. So it is all the time attached to the body and mind complex, and it controls all your actions. Beautifully he has summarized, beautifully he has written his personal first-hand experience. Hariyo. Too much of digression. We'll start with the shloka. सर्वात्मना दृश्यमिदं ऋषैव नैवाहमर्थः क्षणिकत्वदर्शनात् जानाम्यहं सर्वमिति प्रतीतिः कुतो अहमादेः क्षणिकस्य सिद्ध्येत् सर्वात्मना दृश्यमिदं मृषैव नैवाहमर्थः क्षणिकत्वदर्शनात् जानाम्यहं सर्वमिति प्रतीतिः कुतो अहमादेः क्षणिकस्य सिद्ध्येत्. ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಹಂ ಪದಾರ್ಥ ನಿರೂಪಣೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಈ ಸಂಸಾರ ದೃಶ್ಯ ಪ್ರಪಂಚ ಸರ್ವ ರೀತಿಯಿಂದನೂ ಮಿಥ್ಯೆ ಕಣಪ್ಪ ಶಿಷ್ಯ, ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋ. ಈ ನಾನು 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 ಅನ್ನೋ ಪದಾರ್ಥವೇ ಇಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ. ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಶಿಷ್ಯನಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋ ಪದಾರ್ಥವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಕ್ಷಣಿಕ, ಇವತ್ತಿದೆ ನಾಳೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಚ್ಚರದ ಅವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೀನು ನಾನು ನಾನು ಬಂದೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡೆ ಹೋದೆ ಅಂತ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀಯಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ವಪ್ನದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ನಾನು ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ನಿನ್ನ ದೇಹ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ದೇಹ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗೆ ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ದೀರ್ಘವಾದ ನಿದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೂ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ವಲ್ಲ, ಈ ನಾನು ಇರೋದೇ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಾವ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಇದು ಕ್ಷಣಿಕ, ಕ್ಷಣಭಂಗುರ, ಸರ್ವಕಾಲಿಕ ಸತ್ಯ ಅಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ಇದು ಮಿಥ್ಯಾ. ನಾನು ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನ ತಿಳಿತೇನೆ, ನನಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಎಂತ ಅಸತ್ಯವಾದ ಮಾತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಈ ಪ್ರತೀತಿ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ನಿನ್ನ ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋ ಅಹಂಕಾರವೇ ಕ್ಷಣಿಕವಾಗಿರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನೂ ತಿಳಿಯುತ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಸಂಬದ್ಧ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ. ಜಾನಾಮಿ ಅಹಂ ಸರ್ವಂ ಇತಿ ಪ್ರತೀತಿ ಕುತೋ ಅಹಮಾದೇಹ ಕ್ಷಣಿಕಸ್ಯ ಸಿದ್ಧೆ. ಕ್ಷಣಿಕವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅಹಂಕಾರ, ಮನಸ್ಸು, ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಇವುಗಳಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನೂ ನಾನು ತಿಳಿತೇನೆ, ಸರ್ವಜ್ಞನಾಗ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಹೇಗಪ್ಪ ಸಿದ್ಧಿಸುತ್ತೆ? ಸ್ವತಃ ಇದೇ ಮಿಥ್ಯೆ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಭಾವ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಸೇಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಸ್, ಸಿ ಸರ್ವಾತ್ಮನ ದೃಶ್ಯಮಿದಂ ಮೃಷೈವ. ಮೃಷ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಫಾಲ್ಸ್. ಮೃಷ means false. Again and again, false in the relative sense. Always you must remember, people get confused here. What I am seeing, is it false? I am seeing a tree in the road. Now, whether the tree is present or not, is it false? What I am seeing, it is not like that. Repeatedly, this has been hammered in Vedanta, in the Advaitic school of thoughts and explanations. Vrusha means mithya. Mithya means it appears, prapancha, jagat, to our eyes. You perceive, you feel it, you can touch, you can see, you can observe, you can smell, you can talk, you can communicate. It responds. When you talk to somebody, somebody will talk to you. So the prapancha will respond to you. When you are driving a car, you on the countryside, you see beautiful nature's landscape. You are seeing it. You are feeling it. You are experiencing it. The whole nature is pulsating in the spring season. Yes. Yes, you are a part of that. But mithya means, here in the Vedantic sense, in the Advaitic sense, mithya, mrusha means this is not eternally permanent. It won't remain in the same way, in the same intensity, without any change, permanently, past, present, or future, all the time, eternally. No. What is there today, tomorrow it will go away. What is born today, it will die tomorrow. Take your own example. Easy to understand. All of us, we know our experience. To our limited level of recalling the memory, so some of us, we remember what I was doing at the age of 2 or 3, say maybe 4 years of age. Then we remember at the age of 10 how I was behaving, what I was wearing. At the age of 20, how I was behaving, how I was talking, how I was looking at life. At the age of 30, how I was doing. All these things we remember. At the age of 50, we remember what I was. At the age of 60, I still remember what I was, what I was doing. Now at the age of 70, I still remember what I am doing now, what I was doing 20 years later. But take your own mind, your own body, your own physical body as an example. ನಿಮ್ಮ ದೇಹದ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅನುಭವಗಳನ್ನೇ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ 10 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಹೇಗೆ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಿ, 20 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಯುವಕನಾಗಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಿ, 30, 35, 40, 45ನೇ ವಯಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗಿದ್ರಿ, 50, 55ನೇ ವಯಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗಿದ್ರಿ, ಮಧ್ಯಮ ವಯಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ, 65, 70 ದಾಟಿದ ನಂತರ ಈಗ ಪ್ರೌಢಾವಸ್ಥೆಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ, ವೃದ್ಧಾವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ? ನೀವು ಅದೇ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಮನಸ್ಸದೇ, ಅದೇ ಹೆಸರು, ಅದೇ ಭಾವ, ಆದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ದೇಹ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಹಲ್ಲುಗಳು ಬಿದ್ದು ಹೋಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂದಲು ಉದುರೋಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ. ಕೈಗಳಿಗೆ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ, ನಡಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ. So everything is changing. Take your own life. If you are now 70 plus, you know how you were 60 years before. When you were 60 plus, 30 plus, you had all the energy, enthusiasm. Now your muscles have become weak. Your teeth have gone. Hair on the scalp has gone. Eyesight has almost become weak. Hearing also is almost impaired, sometimes defective. Walking is a problem. Sitting is a problem. Running is still a problem. Doing exercise not possible. See, your own body. Why it is mrusha? Why it is mithya? It is not the same. It has changed, transformed. Minute to minute, second to second, cells are changing. Body is changing. Your attitudes are changing. Your behavior is changing. Your reactions are changing. You have become more and more mellowed down in so many spheres of life. You have become more submissive. Earlier, maybe you were very short-tempered. You thought you ruled the world. You thought you are a big CEO. You are a CFO, whatever, CEO, CFO, CEO, whatnot, blah, blah, blah. You were great power monger. You are a founder of a big company. Say, for example, Apple company, Microsoft, whatever, blah, blah. Look what happened to Steve Jobs. Most of you in the present generation, 30 plus, 40 plus, 50 plus people, young generation know, they should know. What did Steve Jobs write on his deathbed about the life? When he was in the ICU, he saw the death is approaching him, and he knew the futility of the power and the money he was hankering upon, running behind, making more and more money. Being a founder, maybe co-founder of the Apple company. What happened? What he wrote? Please go through that once again today at least. Please read what Steve Jobs wrote on his deathbed. All this has brought me nothing. Now I have become a big zero, waiting in the ICU with all the tubes inserted into my body, unable to move on this bed. I am just counting my last breath when I will die. Something like that, pathetically, very pathetically. Yes. But what was he? How he was adored when he was a big company owner. It happens to everyone, please remember. However big you are, however topmost you are, however influential you are, however dictator you are, great dictator, power mongerer you are, one day or the other, you will be on the deathbed. So that is why Acharya says, Sarvatmana drushyamidam mrusha eva, mrushaiva. Everything is false in that sense. Mithya, delusion, the magic, it has cast a spell. The Maya has cast a powerful spell on your mind that everything is real. You are moving today. You are busy in your life, making more money. Forgetting, as our Indian sages and Rishi Munis have unequivocally declared that the Parama Purushartha, primary goal, primary purpose of life is to really know who I am, to escape from this cycle of birth, to obtain Shashvata, Paramapada, Brahmananda, Nijananda state, to get away from the Shoka and Moha, this grief called substance. This is our purpose of life. This is what great Indian sages, Indian Rishis in the Indian Vedanta have proclaimed for thousands of years. Again, digressing. So, Acharya says here, Naiva hamarthaha kshanikatva darshana janamyaham sarvamiti pratitihi kuto ahamadehe kshanikasya siddhe. So this world is really unreal. It's always changing, eternally transforming. This aham, ego also, what you identify that you are so and so, it is also unreal. Naiva ahamartha kshanika darshana. Kshanikatva darshana. Even this aham, ego factor is mrusha, unreal, mithya, false. It's not permanent. Where is this your ego factor in deep sleep? If it is real, you should always be aware of yourself in the deep sleep also. Now in the waking state, ಎಚ್ಚರದ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಇಂಥವನು, ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಇದು, ನಾನು ಇಂಥವರ ಮಗ, ನಾನು ಇಂತಹ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಅರಿವಿದೆ. ಗಾಢ ನಿದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಇಂಥವನು ಅಂತ ಅರಿವಿರುತ್ತಾ? ನಾನು ಇಂಥವ್ರ ಮಗ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆಯಾ? ಗಾಢ ನಿದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ನೆನಪಿದೆಯಾ? ಗಾಢವಾದ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾನು ಇಂಥವರ ಮಗ ಅಂತ ನೆನಪಿದೆಯಾ? ಇಂಥವರು ನನ್ನ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಗಂಡ ಅಂತ ನೆನಪಿದೆಯಾ? ಇಂಥವರು ನನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಅಂತ ನೆನಪಿದೆಯಾ? ನಾನು ಇಂಥ ಕೆಲಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ ಅಂತ ನೆನಪಿದೆಯಾ? ನನಗೆ ಪ್ರತಿ ತಿಂಗಳು ಇಷ್ಟು ಸಂಬಳ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಇಷ್ಟು ದುಡ್ಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ನಾನು ಇಂಥ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮನ್, ಇಂಥ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ನಾನೊಬ್ಬ ದೊಡ್ಡ ರಾಜಕಾರಣಿ, ನಾನೊಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಾಪಾರಿ, ನಾನೊಬ್ಬ ಕಳ್ಳ, ನಾನೊಬ್ಬ ದರೋಡೆಗಾರ, ಇದೇನಾದ್ರು ನೆನಪಿದೆಯಾ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ? ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ಅಷ್ಟೆ. ಪ್ರತಿನಿತ್ಯದ ಅನುಭವ, ಗಾಢ ನಿದ್ರಾವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಶಾಂತವಾಗಿದೆ. ಮನಸ್ಸು, ಬುದ್ಧಿ, ಅಹಂಕಾರ, ಚಿತ್ತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳು ಅಹಂ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಯ ಸ್ವರೂಪನಾದ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಗಾತ್ಮನಲ್ಲಿ ಲೈವ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗಿರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ. ತಮಸ್ಸಿನ ಮೂಲವಾದ ಗಾಢ ನಿದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಜ್ಞಾನದ ಮೂಲವಾದ ಗಾಢ ನಿದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಮರೆತು ಹೋಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಲುಪ್ತವಾಗಿದೆ, ಲೈವ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗಿದೆ. ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋ ಪದಾರ್ಥವೇ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಇದು ನಿಜ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಗಾಢ ನಿದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ, ಓಹ್ ನಾನು ಮಲ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಅನಿಸ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಅನಿಸಲ್ವಲ್ಲ. ಇಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಐ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ is real, if this is real, then even the deep sleep, I should remember, I should be aware of myself. See the beautiful logical argument in Upanishads. Mandukya Upanishad mainly deals with this avasthatraya lakshana swarupa. The entire major part of Mandukya Upanishad deals with analysis of deep sleep, the dream state, and the waking state. If this ego is real, then we should be aware in the deep sleep also. I am so and so, my name is so and so, my spouse name is so and so, my monthly salary is so and so, I am earning so much, I am a big officer, I am a big businessman, I am a big lawyer, my children are so and so. Everything we should be aware constantly in the deep sleep. Everyone's experience. Do we really remember what we are in the deep sleep? Even for a fraction of a second? The very definition of deep sleep means we don't know what is happening there. There is no sorrow, there is no joy, there is no grief, no association, no mental thoughts, nothing of identity. The aham is not there, ego is not there, everything is merged. Your buddhi, intellect is merged, your mind is merged, your chitta is merged, your ahankara, ego is merged, all merged with Pratyagatma, Parama Chaitanya residing inside. So we don't remember anything. So what do we say? After getting up, we had a wonderful sleep. Sir, what a wonderful sleep. Beautifully I slept. That is all the expression. Every one of us, we know that. Every one of you know that. Every one of you, you have experienced what is deep sleep. But you cannot define what it is. You cannot define what you are doing in deep sleep. You cannot say, where were you in the deep sleep? You cannot say you are witnessing constantly the deep sleep as an individual entity. You cannot say your ego was there. You cannot say your mind was there. You cannot say you are calculating your next day's meeting program, minutes of the meeting. You cannot say you are preparing, studying very hard for your next day examination in the deep sleep. That is what Acharya is thinking. Naivahamartah kshanikatva darshana janamyaham sarvamiti pratitihi kuto ahamadehe kshanikasya siddhet. So when this whole aham pratyaya, this ahankara, this ego, this mind complex is totally brusha, false, how it can say, how it can think that I know everything? Janami aham sarvam iti pratitihi ahamadehe kutaha kshanikasya ahamadeha siddhyet. So how this feeling of sarvajnatva can be bestowed on the indriyas and the mind and the ego factor? When everything is mrusha, everything is false, everything is mithya. It is a delusion. They are not permanent. They are not eternal. They keep changing. They are kshanika. They are temporary. They are momentary. These are the points Acharya is hinting at in this sloka. Aham padartah tu ahamadi sakshi nityam sushuptavapi bhavadarshanaat brute hajo nitya iti shruti swayam tat pratyagatma sadasad vilakshanaha. Aham padartah tu ahamadi sakshi nityam sushuptavapi bhavadarshanaat. Sushuptau plus api, when sandhi occurs, sushuptau plus api becomes sushuptavapi. Nityam sushuptavapi bhavadarshanaat brute ajo nitya iti shruti swayam. Brute ajo nitya iti shruti swayam. Brute tat pratyagatma sadasad vilakshanaha. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆದರೆ ಅಂತ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ತು ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ತು ಅಹಂ ಪದಾರ್ಥ ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತು ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಆದರೆ ನಿಜವಾದ ಅಹಂ ಪದಾರ್ಥ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೊರಗಿನ ನಾನು, ಈ ಸುಳ್ಳು ನಾನು, ಈ ಹೊರಗಿನ ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಾವಕ್ಕೆ ಕೇವಲ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿದೆ ನಿಜವಾದ ಅಹಂ ಪದಾರ್ಥ. ಯಾವುದು? ಪ್ರತ್ಯೇಗಾತ್ಮ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಒಳಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಆತ್ಮನೇ ನಿಜವಾದ ಶಾಶ್ವತವಾದ ಅಹಂ ಪದಾರ್ಥ. ಆತ ಈ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲ್ನೋಟದ ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಾವಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದ, ಸಾಕ್ಷಿಕ, ಕೇವಲ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದ. ನಿತ್ಯಂ ಸುಷುಪ್ತೌ ಅಪಿ ಭಾವದರ್ಶನ. ಗಾಢ ನಿದ್ರೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ಸಹ ಅಹಂ, ನಿಜವಾದ ಅಹಂ ಪದಾರ್ಥ ಬೆಳಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನಿಜವಾದ ಅಹಂ ಪದಾರ್ಥ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗಾಢ ನಿದ್ರೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಥವಾ ಗಾಢ ನಿದ್ರೆಯಿಂದ ಎದ್ದ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ಸುಖವಾಗಿ ಮಲಗಿದ್ದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ನೀವು. ನಾನು ಸುಖವಾಗಿ ಮಲಗಿದ್ದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ನಿಜ ಸ್ವರೂಪವಾದ ನಿಜವಾದ ಅಹಂ ಪದಾರ್ಥ ಬೆಳಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಗಾಢ ನಿದ್ರಾವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ಬೆಳಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಸಾಕ್ಷಿಯಾಗಿದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ನಿದ್ರೆಗೆ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿಯಾಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ. ಇದೇ ಮಾತನ್ನ ಕಠೋಪನಿಷತ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅಯೋ ನಿತ್ಯ ಶಾಶ್ವತೋ ಎಂ ಪುರಾಣ ಹನ್ಯತೆ ಹನ್ಯಮಾನೇ ಶರೀರೇ ಅಂತ. ಕಠೋಪನಿಷತ್ತಲ್ಲೂ ಈ ಮಾತಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಶ್ರುತಿ ಪ್ರಮಾಣವನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದು ನಿಜವಾದ ಅಹಂ ಪದಾರ್ಥ ಸಾಕ್ಷೀಭೂತ, ಕೇವಲ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿರಹಿತ, ಜನ್ಮರಹಿತ, ನಿತ್ಯ, ಅಮರ, ಸತ್ಯ ಪದಾರ್ಥ, ಚಿತ್ ಪದಾರ್ಥ, ಆನಂದ ಸ್ವರೂಪ, ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಸ್ಥೂಲಗಳಿಗಿಂತ ಭಿನ್ನನಾಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಆತನೇ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರತ್ಯೇಗಾತ್ಮ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರೋ ಆತ್ಮನೇ ನಿಜವಾದ ಅಹಂ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು. ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರೋ ಆತ್ಮ ಪದಾರ್ಥವೇ ನಿಜವಾದ ಅಹಂ ಪದಾರ್ಥ. ಈ ಮೇಲ್ನೋಟದ ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಇಂಥವಳು ಅದಲ್ಲ. ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರೋದು ನಿಜವಾದ ಅಹಂ ಪದಾರ್ಥ ಯಾವುದು? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರತ್ಯೇಗಾತ್ಮ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆತ್ಮಸ್ವರೂಪ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ವರೂಪ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ವಸ್ವರೂಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ. So what Acharya is telling now, he is differentiating so that people should not get confused. So he starts aham padartha tu ahamadi sakshihi. Tu means but. So he's now clarifying. But my dear disciple, listen. The real aham padartha, the real I, the original primordial I, aham, 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 as it is called, as it is denoted in Shrutis or in the holy scriptures. So this aham, the real I, primordial I, is only a witness. It remains a pure witness, motionless, actionless witness to the outer I, your ego, your mind, your buddhi, your chitta. So the real I padartha, the real aham padartha remains pure witness to your antakarana chatushtaya, ahankara, buddhi, mana, chitta. So it witnesses your outer I also, this pseudo I also, this false I also it witnesses. So the real I is different from the false I, is making distinction. And this real I, this real aham padartha is nityam sushupto api bhavadarshana. It is always eternal, eternally present, without change. It is always shining. It is always present. Even in the deep sleep, it is a witness. It is a witness even in the deep sleep. It is shining even in the deep sleep, without any modification, without any attachments, without any association, asanga. It is not associated, it is independent. Even in your deep sleep every day, this real aham is constantly self-shining. It is self-radiating. It is radiating itself in your deep sleep. That is why when you get up every day, if somebody asks you, you will say, oh, I had a wonderful sleep today. Undisturbed, beautiful sleep today. I slept so peacefully. Or you would say, I slept so beautifully without any disturbance. Where were you in the deep sleep? You don't know. But after waking up, what do you say? I slept beautifully. I slept peacefully. I slept without any worry. I slept without any association. I slept without thinking any problem. I slept without even bothering about any crisis now happening in my life. Hundreds of problems are there now I'm attending to. But when I slept, everything was forgotten. I say like that. You say like that. I slept so beautifully. Now, why do you say like that? Because the real I was there shining. It was radiating. It was aware of itself as a Sakshi Chaitanya. So, because of that effect of the Sakshi Chaitanya, when you get up from the sleep, you say, I had a wonderful sleep. So that is why the real I is always Shashvata, always eternally present. Even in the dream state, it is present. In the waking state, it is present. In the deep sleep, it is present. Without any change. Without any change. So Acharya says here, next two lines, he takes the example of the famous mantra of Kathopanishad. Brute hi ajo nitya iti shruti swayam. Swayam shruti hi ajo nitya iti brute. Even the Shruti means Upanishad says ajo nitya. What is that Shruti? That is Kathopanishad. In Kathopanishad, there is a Mahamantra, there is a Vachana called Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Purana Na Hanyate Hanyamani Sharire. Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam this Pratyagatma, this Brahma Padartha, this Parabrahma Vastu, this Paramatma Vastu, this Nirguna, Nirvishesha Parabrahma Vastu, this Padartha is Ajaha, without birth, without death, always present. Amara, Nityaha, eternally present. Shashvataha, always existing, without change, as it is as it is. Shashvataha, Puranaha is the ancient, from time immemorial. Purana, timeless. What does it mean? Shruti says, Kathopanishad says, timeless means, see, the concept of time you are now attached to. Hours and seconds, yesterday, today, tomorrow, AM and PM concept, past, present, future. See, the whole time concept, this time concept has come at the time of creation. It was not there earlier. In the creation itself, the time concept has come. So the Parabrahma, the Paramatma Vastu, primordial Vastu is beyond the creation. So it is beyond the time. It is timeless. So Purana means timeless. The word infinite also is not correct here. It is simply timeless. So Shruti uses the word Purana. Purana means ancient, the literal sense. Here it means timeless. Nahanyate hanyamane sharire, Shruti, Kathopanishad continues. So this Atma, this Paramatma Vastu, Parabrahma Vastu, this timeless, nameless, faceless, actionless Sadvastu. In the absence of any other word, we are using the word Vastu, Padartha. You cannot use any word, any term. The words will fail actually to explain what Paramatma, Parabrahma Vastu is. Communication, Vedanta is using these words. Tat, it says only that. So, Nahanyate hanyamane shariri. So, this Paramatma Vastu is inside your body, even if your body is killed. Hanyamane sharire nahanyate. This is not killed. So, it is eternal, permanent. Satya Vastu. It is not mithya. It is always Satyasya Satya, Parama Satya, ever existing, everlasting, ever present. Nahanyate hanyamane sharire, Shruti says. This Atma Vastu, even if the body is killed, it is not killed. Deha kattarisidru, ದೇಹವನ್ನು ಕೊಂದು ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು, ದೇಹದ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಪರಮಚೈತನ್ಯ ಸದ್ವಸ್ತು, ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ವಸ್ತು, ಆ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಗಾತ್ಮನಿಗೆ ಸಾವಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಶ್ರುತಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಈತ ಅಜ, ನಿತ್ಯ, ಶಾಶ್ವತ ಮತ್ತು ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಪುರಾತನವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಶಾಶ್ವತ ವಸ್ತು ಅಂತ ಕಠೋಪನಿಷತ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೇಮ್ ಉಪನಿಷತ್ ಭಾವ, the same Tatparya Lord Krishna Paramatma uses in the very Bhagavad Gita, in the beginning only, in the second chapter, while explaining about the Atma Swarupa to Arjuna, what he says, the famous shloka, every Mahatman, every great soul, every great Acharya, while explaining Bhagavad Gita, once in a way they quote this particular famous shloka. Even ordinary mortals will by heart and quote this shloka all by themselves. What is the shloka? What Krishna Paramatma tells Arjuna. Bhagavad Gita Paramatma Krishna ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅರ್ಜುನ. 2ನೇ ಅಧ್ಯಾಯ ಸಾಂಖ್ಯ ಯೋಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಆತ್ಮನ ಸ್ವರೂಪದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಆತ್ಮನ ನಿತ್ಯತ್ವದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಸತ್ಯತ್ವದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಇರುವಿಕೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನೈನಂ ಛಿಂದಂತಿ ಶಸ್ತ್ರಾಣಿ ನೈನಂ ದಹತಿ ಪಾವಕಃ ನೈನಂ ದಹತಿ ಪಾವಕಃ ನ ಕ್ಲೇದಯಂತ್ಯಾಪ್ಯೋ ನ ಶೋಷಯತಿ ಮಾರುತಃ न क्लेदयति आपः न शोषयति मारुतः. That is the entire shloka, one part of it. So what he says, look Arjuna, this Atma, nainam na enam means, see, na enam chindante shastrani. You cannot kill this Atma by any weapon. You cannot murder this Atma by any weapon. Nainam chindanti shastrani. Nainam dahati pavakaha. Even the fire cannot burn it to ashes, this Atma, this Pratyagatma, what is inside, the Chaitanya, Parama Chaitanya, even it cannot be burnt by the fire. ಈ ಆತ್ಮವನ್ನ ಯಾವುದೇ ಶಸ್ತ್ರ ಕತ್ತರಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ. ಬೆಂಕಿ ಜ್ವಾಲೆಯಿಂದ ಅದನ್ನ ಸುಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಿಲ್ಲ, ನೀರಿನಿಂದ ಅದನ್ನ ಮುಳುಗಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಿಲ್ಲ, ಗಾಳಿ ವಾಯುವಿನಿಂದ ಅದನ್ನ ಒಣಗಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೂ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಭಗವಂತ. ಸೊ ನೀದರ್ ದ ಫೈರ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬರ್ನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆತ್ಮ, ನಾರ್ ದಿ ವಾಟರ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡ್ರೌನ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ, ನಾರ್ ದ ವಿಂಡ್, however the gale, typhoon, cyclonic force can take away this atma or dry up this atma. Not possible. So that is what Lord tells in Bhagavad. Same thing. Brute ajo nitya iti shruti swayam acharyasi. Tat pratyagatma sadasad vilakshana. So that pratyagatma which is inside your body and my body, that atma swarupa, that pratyagatma is sadasad vilakshana. It is beyond sat and asat. It is unique. It is neither sat nor asat. Again, please remember here, in certain contexts, the definition of the word sat and asat differs. ಆಚಾರ್ಯರಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಗಾತ್ಮ ನಿಮ್ಮ ದೇಹದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಆತ್ಮ ಇದ್ದಾನಲ್ಲ, ಆತನಿಗೆ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಗಾತ್ಮ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಕರೀತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಆತ ಸತ್ ಮತ್ತು ಅಸತ್ತಿಗೆ ಹೊರತಾಗಿ ವಿಲಕ್ಷಣನಾಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸದಸದ್ ವಿಲಕ್ಷಣ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ ಅರ್ಥ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸತ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಅಸತ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ಅರ್ಥ? ಸತ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸ್ಥೂಲ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಅನುಭವಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಅಸತ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದೃಶ್ಯ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಕಾಣದೇ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಶರೀರ. ಸತ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಥೂಲ ಶರೀರ, ಸ್ಥೂಲ ಪ್ರಪಂಚ. ಅಸತ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಕಾಣದೆ ಅದೃಶ್ಯ ಪ್ರಪಂಚ, ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಪ್ರಪಂಚ, ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಶರೀರ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ when Acharya uses the word here in the context, tat pratyagatma sadasad vilakshanaha, it means here sat means that which is experienced, which is visible outside the entire cosmos, the entire prapancha, the entire Vishwa, the whole creation, including the physical body. What is asat? That which is not visible, which is invisible, which is totally invisible inside, inner cosmos, sukshma sharira, subtle body, whatever you take. So this atma is neither sat nor asat. It is beyond sat and asat, beyond sthula prapancha and sukshma prapancha. So he calls it as sadvilakshana. That is the pratyaya he uses. Acharya Bhagavad-pada calls this pratyagatma as sadasat vilakshana. Vikarinam sarva vikaravetta nityo vikaro bhavitum samarthati manoratha swapna sushuptishu sputam punah punah drushtam asattvametayoh. Vikarinam sarva vikaravetta nityo vikaro bhavitum samarthati manoratha swapna sushuptishu sputam punah punah drushtam asattvametayoh. Next shloka Acharya takes up. Same aham padartha nirupana. He says, the real I, the real aham, real pratyagatma inside Parama Chaitanya, ಈ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಚೈತನ್ಯ ಸ್ವರೂಪಿಯಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಗಾತ್ಮನಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ನಿಜವಾದ ನಾನು ಎಲ್ಲ ದೇಹದ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಗತಿಗಳನ್ನ ವಿಕಾರಗಳನ್ನ ಅರಿಯತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಸ್ವತಃ ಆತನು ಅವಿಕಾರಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಆತ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಕಾರಗಳನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಅವಿಕಾರಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಮನೋರಥ, ಸ್ವಪ್ನ, ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿ ಇವುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ದೇಹ ಮತ್ತು ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಥೂಲ ದೇಹ ಮತ್ತು ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಇವು ಎರಡರ ಮಿಥ್ಯಾತ್ವವನ್ನ ನೀವು ಪುನಃ ಪುನಃ ನೋಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು? ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರೋ ಪ್ರತ್ಯೇಗಾತ್ಮ ಆತ ಅವಿಕಾರಿ, ಶುದ್ಧ, ನಿತ್ಯ, ಶಾಶ್ವತ, ಬುದ್ಧ, ಮುಕ್ತ, ಸರ್ವತಂತ್ರ, ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ. ಈತನ ಸನ್ನಿಧಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಏನ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ, ಈ ಅಂತರ್ ಪ್ರಪಂಚ, ಈ ಮನೋವ್ಯಾಪಾರಗಳು, ಮನಸ್ಸನ್ನ ಸಂಕಲ್ಪ ವಿಕಲ್ಪಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನ ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸ್ವಪ್ನವನ್ನ, ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ನೀವು ಅನುಭವಿಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಗಾಢ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನ ಆತ ಸಾಕ್ಷೀಭೂತವಾಗಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನಲ್ಲ, ಅವಿಕಾರಿಯಾಗಿ, ಯಾವ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕುವ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳನ್ನ, ಪ್ರಪಂಚದ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳನ್ನ, ಸ್ಥೂಲ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನಲ್ಲ ಸಾಕ್ಷೀಭೂತನಾಗಿ. ಆತ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆತ ಹೇಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಹಾಗೆ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಅವಿಕಾರಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಅಸಂಗನಾಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ನಿರ್ವಿಕಾರಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಸರ್ವ ವಿಕಾರಗಳನ್ನ ಅರಿತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನಲ್ಲ. So what Acharya says here, so this Pratyagatma, this superlative, your own inner real self, the real self, this Atma Swarupa, real Chaitanya Swarupa, it is not changing eternally, same as it is present, but it is observing in its presence all the changes that are happening in the world and inside your body, in the inner cosmos and outer cosmos. So this being itself, without any change, it is observing all the changes taking place, all the changes taking place in your mind, in your chitta, in your buddhi, everything. It is observing as a witness. See, then what he says, Acharya says, so the unreality of the body and the unreality of the I-ness is being perceived by the witness, Pratyagatma, as a Sakshi Chaitanya. And then Acharya further makes the point very clear. What is that? Manoratha swapna sushuptishu sputam punah punah drushtam asatvam etayoho. Etayoho. Acharya is making one clear distinction. Etayoho means, Acharya says, look, take for example your physical body, gross, sthula sharira. Take your outer ego, aham, this my concept, myself concept. You take that example. In deep sleep and also in dream state, Acharya is making very clear, very short and crisp statement in the shloka. The purport of the shloka is, in the deep sleep state and also in the dream state, you are not aware of your physical body, what you are now. You identify. Your physical body, you are not aware. Your height, weight, color, everything, your appearance, everything. Whether you are a man or a woman, whatever it is, all the characters, physical characters, you are not aware in the deep sleep about your physical body. Number one. Number two, you are not aware of your own physical body even in the dream state. So both in deep sleep and dream state, your physical body is big zero. It has vanished. It has totally vanished. Please ponder on this. In the dream, every day what you experience, you know that you are aware of the dream happenings only when you get up. You are aware that you are present, but you are not seeing your body as of now as you are appearing physically in the waking state. Please contemplate on this, what Acharya is. Think on this point. What Bhagavad Pada says. You are not aware of your physical body, appearance, its nature, beauty, etc., etc., either in the dream state or in the deep state. Correct? Similar, you are not aware of your ego, me, myself concept in the deep sleep. The me concept, ego concept, ahankara, outer ego, this outer I concept, I am so and so, I am so and so, that is not there. So your ego is not there in the deep sleep. Your physical body is not there in the deep sleep. It has vanished. So that is why they are mrusha, mithya. So the physical body and your, what you call, the ego depends on the physical body. It is subservient, it is attached, like the shadow attached to the body. When the light falls on the body object, the shadow is created. You cannot wish away the shadow as long as the light is falling on the body. The shadow is created. So shadow is dependent on the optical illusion played by the light factor passing through the opaque body. ದೇಹದ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೆಳಕು ಬಿದ್ದಾಗ ನೆರಳು ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ದೇಹದ್ದು, ಆ ನೆರಳನ್ನು ತೆಗಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾ? ದೇಹ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೋ ಅದ್ರ ಹಿಂದೆ ನೆರಳು ಹೋಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗೆ ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಅನ್ನೋದು ದೇಹದ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಲೆಕ್ಕ. ದೇಹ ಇರೋ ತನಕ ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಇದೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಬರೋ ತನಕ ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇದೆ. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಏತಯೋಹೋ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ದೇಹ ಮತ್ತು ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಇವೆರಡು ಯಾಕೆ ಮಿಥ್ಯ, ಯಾಕೆ ಮೃಷ ಅಂತ, ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾಲಕ್ಕೂ ಸತ್ಯವಾಗಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾಡು ನಿದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅನುಭವಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ವಪ್ನದಲ್ಲೂ ಅನುಭವಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋದು. This is what Acharya is hinting at. So now he is distinguishing what is the real I, real the base, primordial Brahma, Nirvishesha, Nissanga, Nishkriya, Nishkala, Niranjana, Sakshat, Pratyagatma Swarup. That is Tat, as called in Upanishad. That is Tat. And what is the outer I? I am so and so, I am so and so, I am so and so, I am male, I am a female, I am a father, I am a mother. This is outer. So he is distinguished the real I and the outer. With the Guru Sankalpa today, we are stopping here. I think at the shloka 294. Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. 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 Hari Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Virajesh.
Thank you, sir. Amrita Varshini. Thank you for that every week, over and over again.
Hope it is being followed. Hope it is being. Hope people
Trying, sir.
will follow this.
Trying.
I don't know whether
Jai Shri Hari. Hari Om, sir.